Hello, I'm Dr. Jeanette Raymond, psychologist, psychotherapist, and relationship expert, here to talk to you about mourning the loss of a partner that you wished you had. So, in the beginning, when you first meet the person that you're going to live with, you see all the good stuff, you see all the visions and dreams, and imagine that all will be well if you just want it to be so. And you disregard any conflicting information that other people might have. You don't want a reality check. You want to stay in that lovely romantic place, and you just believe that if you want it to work, it's going to work no matter what, and that you'll be able to tolerate anything because love will conquer all and the partnership will smooth things over. And that may last for a little while, a year, maybe more, and then you gradually begin getting irritated. Things about your partner start to worry you. They don't seem to be the person they were. You are disappointed. You feel disillusioned, and it gets depressing. You feel defeated in a sense, like you've lost something that you thought you had. But in reality, you're just seeing the person for who they really are and not who you wanted them to be, who you wish them to be. So you put on the best armor you've got, you get all your energy together, and you make an humongous effort to change the person, to make them better, to make them more loyal, to make them more proactive, more responsive, more affectionate, more responsible, all the sorts of things that you would want. And all your efforts come to nothing, because the person may promise this, then they'll give up. You may want to take them to therapy, and that doesn't work because you're wanting change and they don't want to change because they're happy the way they were. Well, why did you marry me if you want me to change? And so on and so forth. But it's very natural to want to believe that your love and your wish can actually change the other person, and that if they love you enough, they will want to change. That's when things start to unravel and you get into a kind of funk, a kind of depression. It's a bumpy road to the bottom of the tarmac where you suddenly feel that you're walking on bumps, on hot coals, on ashes, that nothing feels good anymore. There's no liveliness. Nothing works the way you want. You're not in sync. If you do get something, it's transactional. It's not coming from a good place. It's not sourced in a good intention, and so on. And that's when you start to want to either give up or spend as much time away from your partner, right? But you don't have to do that. If you want the relationship to work, if you want to make the best of it, and lots of my clients say that they do want to make the best of it, they don't just want to give up and go away, particularly if they've got kids, then you have to start mourning the loss of the partner you wish you had. And that partner will be a kind of an ideal, someone who will be interested in you, who will have patience, who will want to listen to you, who will want to respect your views, who will be affectionate when you want to, who will be respectful of your property, who won't do things without asking you who and checking with you, who will want to share their experiences with you, whether it's watching a movie together or family issues, whether it's about parenting style or experiences of childhood that have brought you to have your own value systems and set of uh, tenets by which you want to bring up your kids, whatever it might be. Mourning the loss of that ideal is very, very difficult. It's a lot to give up because you're ending up with something that feels to you like a compromise that's not worth having, that it's a kind of a plodding way to live. There's nothing there, and whatever there is, it doesn't feel satisfying and fulfilling. But mourning the loss of the partner you wish you had gives you the opportunity of seeing the person who's really there, looking at their good qualities and yours in a more realistic way. Can you make room for who they are, or do they have to follow your narrow way of being who you want them to be, when you want it, how and want you want it, and when you want it? Are you able to let them be who they are and not who you want them to be, without feeling that you've been let down, that you've been emptied out, that there's nothing left for you, that life is meaningless? If you can, then it means literally making a list of all the things, all your expectations, hopes, wishes, dreams about this ideal partner, looking at it and comparing it to the reality. What have you actually got? Yes, it may not look good, but there's good points in it, because what's there is what you've been living with and what you need to deal with. And it's important that you recognize this is what you have, the reality. Living in your world of fantasy, wishes, dreams, hopes, imagination, expectations, that's not real. You can go into that fantasy world anytime you want, but you're going to have to come back out with a thud into the reality. And so making friends with reality, seeing it as what's actually there, that's the meat of what you have. Look at it in that point of view. And yes, you have to mourn the loss of what you didn't have. Set up shrines in your mind. Talk about it with your partner. Maybe your partner has similar feelings of betrayal and loss, that they didn't have what their wishes and hopes for. But until you mourn the loss of the partner you wish you had, you have no relationship with the real person, and you're living in one world and your partner's living in another, and you keep clashing. Or you're living in separate corners of the universe trying to raise kids. So mourning means making a list, making pictures of it, describing it, talking about it, making videos, movies, whatever takes your fancy, however creatively you want to do it. Writing poems, um, writing stories, creating storyboards, however you want to do it. That's going to help you make room for the reality of the partner that you do have, and for you to value their strengths and support them in their weaknesses, because you also have strengths and weaknesses and they need to do the same for you. But it can't be done if you're both living in fantasy worlds that involve partners you wish you had that you didn't have. And the partner that you wish you had is usually a version of a perfect parent who's always attuned, who's always sensitive, always receptive, always available, and knows exactly what you need and gives you only what you need, doesn't stop until you move away when you've had enough, is never intrusive, and is permanently at your beck and call until you're old enough not to need that anymore. So if you're living in the world of my partner's not who I want them to be, and I don't know if I can cope, it's because you missed out on that when you were between 1 day old and 6 months old. That's when you should have had this perfect attunement and syncing and matching, but no intruding and no forcing. That is the basis of having wishes, dreams, hopes, and expectations of this ideal partner, which unfortunately excludes you from the real person in front of you who's got a lot to offer, if only you would see. So hope to hear from you. Specifically, if you want to write comments, please make them about this particular video and your experiences in this arena. I look forward to meeting with you next time.